Welcome to EvoLing Mind, where English meets inspiration. Let's train your ears and grow your mind, one word at a time.
We all want to save money. We dream of having enough to travel, to buy something special, or simply to feel safe when life gets hard. But for many of us, saving money feels almost impossible. We plan to save, but somehow at the end of the month, there's nothing left. I used to believe that saving money was only about numbers. Spend less, save more. Simple, right? But it's not that simple, because behind every coin and every dollar, there are emotions, habits, and choices. We spend to feel better, to reward ourselves, or to forget stress for a moment. And before we realize it, the money we wanted to keep is gone. In this episode, I want to share my story of learning how to save money, not by being strict or living with fear, but by changing my mindset. I'll talk about the times I failed, the moments I learned, and the small habits that finally helped me take control. Saving money isn't just about having more. It's about feeling calm, confident, and free. It's about knowing that you can handle life, even when it surprises you. So if you've ever tried to save but couldn't, or if you want to start again, this episode is for you. Let's talk about money, not as numbers, but as part of our story, our peace, and our future. Take a deep breath, open your mind, and let's begin. When I first tried to save money, I failed. Many times. Every month I told myself, this time I'll save something. But somehow, when the month ended, my wallet was empty again. At first I thought it was just bad luck. Maybe the bills were higher this time. Maybe there were too many birthdays, dinners, and little things I didn't plan for. But the truth was simpler. I didn't know how to save. I only knew how to spend. Money always seemed to disappear without me noticing. A cup of coffee here, a small snack there, a new shirt I didn't really need. Each one was small, but together they took away everything I could have saved. And at the end of the month, I felt frustrated and guilty. I asked myself, why can't I control my money? Saving money felt like fighting against myself. Whenever I tried to save, something inside me whispered, you worked hard, you deserve this. And yes, I did deserve good things. But what I didn't understand back then was that saving is also a way to take care of myself. Sometimes I used shopping as a way to feel better. If I had a bad day, I bought something small to make myself happy. If I felt lonely, I ordered food instead of cooking. It made me feel good, but only for a few minutes. After that, I felt even emptier, not only in my heart, but also in my pocket. I remember one month when I promised to save at least $50. It sounded easy, but by the third week, I was already using that money for things I didn't plan for. When I looked at my bank account, I felt disappointed in myself. Then came the excuses. I'll save next month. I just need this one thing. I don't make enough money to save. But deep down, I knew it wasn't just about income. It was about habits and the way I thought about money. I used to see saving as a punishment. I thought it meant saying no to everything fun. No coffee, no treats, no joy. So I avoided it. But this mindset only made me more stressed. Because no matter how much I earned, I always felt I didn't have enough. The hardest part of saving wasn't the math, it was the emotions. The fear of missing out, the need for comfort, the habit of rewarding myself in ways that actually hurt me later. There was one evening when I finally realized this truth. I was looking at my bank account and it hit me. I wasn't just losing money, I was losing peace. Every time I spent without thinking, I gave away a little piece of my future. That hurt, but it also opened my eyes. Because when we understand the real reason behind our struggles, we can begin to change. One day, something happened that changed the way I saw money. It wasn't a big event. It was a small moment, quiet, simple, but powerful. It was a Saturday morning. I went to buy a coffee, as I usually did. When I reached into my wallet, I saw only a few coins left. At that moment, I realized I had just been paid 2 weeks ago, and yet I had almost nothing left. I stood there, holding the cup, and suddenly felt empty. Not just my wallet, my heart too. I thought, how can I work so hard and still feel like I have nothing? That question stayed in my mind all day. When I came home, I opened my notebook and decided to write down everything I had spent that month. At first, I didn't want to do it. I was afraid to face the truth, but I did it anyway. It was shocking. So many small things. A coffee, a snack, a movie, a shirt, all added up. None of them felt important alone, but together they were huge. I had spent so much on things that didn't even make me happy for long. That night, I made myself a promise. I will not let money control me anymore. I will learn to control it. The next day, I started small. I created a list with 2 columns, needs and wants. I wrote down everything I usually bought and placed each one in the right column. For the first time, I saw clearly what I really needed and what I just wanted for comfort. It was not easy to change. In the beginning, I felt like I was missing out. When my friends went shopping or ate out, I wanted to join them. But I also reminded myself that I was building something more important: stability. A few weeks later, I tried something new. I paid myself first. The moment I received my salary, I saved 10% before paying any bills. Before buying anything, I treated saving like a bill I had to pay to my future self. It was strange at first, but slowly it became a habit. 1 month later, when I saw the small amount growing in my savings account, I smiled. It wasn't much, but it was mine. And more than that, it gave me peace. That small step changed my relationship with money. I stopped thinking about what I couldn't buy and started feeling proud of what I could keep. I also began to notice how saving made me feel stronger. It gave me choices. When something unexpected happened, I didn't panic anymore. For the first time, I felt in control of my life. But the real turning point wasn't just about money. It was about learning patience. I learned to wait, to enjoy things later instead of right now. I learned that the joy of waiting is sometimes even sweeter than the joy of spending. Saving became more than just a financial habit. It became an emotional one, a daily reminder that I could trust myself to make good choices. That was the moment my journey truly began. Not when I started saving money, but when I started believing I could.
After I realized how much I had been spending without thinking, I knew I needed to change. But I didn't want to live a boring or limited life. I didn't want saving money to feel like a punishment. I wanted it to feel natural, simple, and peaceful. So I started creating small habits, things that felt easy, not heavy. The first habit was writing everything down. Every time I spent money, I wrote it in a small notebook or on my phone. At first, it was just a list. No judgment, no guilt. But after a few weeks, something amazing happened. I started to see patterns. I noticed where my money was going and how many things I could easily live without. That awareness was powerful because when we see clearly, we start to choose better. The second habit was asking myself one question before buying anything. Do I really need this? It sounds simple, but it changed everything. Sometimes I realized I didn't need it. I just wanted it because I was bored or stressed. Other times I still bought it, but at least I did it consciously. That one small pause, that one question, helped me save more than any budget ever could. The third habit was planning my spending. Every month, before getting paid, I wrote down what I needed to pay for, rent, food, transport, and what I wanted to save. I gave every dollar a purpose. When I had a clear plan, I felt more in control, and that control gave me peace. Another helpful habit was finding joy in simple things. Before, I spent money to feel good, to reward myself, or escape stress. Now, I learn to enjoy free things. Walking in the park, watching the sunset, talking to a friend, and reading a book. These small things filled my heart more than shopping ever did. I realized happiness doesn't always need a price tag. The fifth habit was paying myself first, no matter what. As soon as I got my salary, I moved 10% into savings. Sometimes I could only save a small amount, but I still did it. Even $10 is better than zero. And what's more important than the number is the discipline. Saving first made me feel proud, like I was building a future, step by step. The next habit was setting small goals. Instead of saying, I want to save a lot, I made it simple. I'll save enough for one emergency. Then, I'll save enough for one short trip. Each time I reached a small goal, I celebrated. Not by spending again, but by feeling proud. Another habit that helped me was learning to wait. If I wanted to buy something, I gave myself 3 days. If after 3 days I still wanted it, I bought it. But most of the time, after thinking a bit, I didn't want it anymore. Waiting saved me from emotional spending, those quick, short moments that bring regret later. The last and most meaningful habit was gratitude. Every time I saved a little, I said thank you to myself for trying, for learning, for caring about my future. That small word made me feel rich, even when my savings were small. These habits didn't make me rich overnight, but they made me peaceful. Because saving money isn't only about numbers. It's about self-respect. It's about saying, I believe in my future enough to care for it today. And that feeling, that quiet confidence, changed everything.
After a few months of saving, something unexpected happened. Yes, my bank account was growing, slowly but surely. But the biggest change wasn't in the numbers, it was in me. I started to see that saving money was not only about money, it was about peace, it was about freedom, and it was about learning to trust myself. When I didn't have savings, I felt scared all the time. One small problem, a broken phone, a hospital bill, or a lost job could destroy my plans. I lived in constant worry. But when I started to save, even a little, I began to feel calm. I realized that I was not powerless anymore. I could take care of myself. And that feeling, that quiet safety, was worth more than anything I could buy. Saving also taught me patience. It showed me that good things take time. We live in a world that wants everything fast. Fast food, fast internet, fast success. But saving is the opposite. It's slow, quiet, and sometimes boring. And yet, it builds something strong, discipline. Every time I saved instead of spending, I was teaching myself to wait, to think, and to believe in the future. I also learned that saving money is a form of self-respect. Before, I used to say yes to every small desire, as if money had no value. Now I say yes more carefully, not because I want to be strict, but because I respect the work behind every dollar I earn. When you start seeing money as energy, your energy, you treat it differently. Another lesson was gratitude. Saving helped me realize how much I already have. Before, I always wanted more, a better phone, a nicer outfit, a new trip. But now, I look around and feel thankful for what's already here. Gratitude makes us feel rich, even when we don't have much. Saving also changed how I saw generosity. When I started saving, I could finally help others, not with big things, but with small acts that came from the heart. I could buy my parents dinner, surprise a friend, or donate a little to someone in need. And that kind of giving felt different, not stressful, but joyful. The deeper I went on this journey, the more I understood that saving money is really about freedom. Freedom to choose. Freedom to say no when something doesn't feel right. Freedom to follow your dreams without fear. When you have savings, you are no longer trapped by your next paycheck. You can breathe. You can live with peace, not panic. But maybe the most beautiful part is this. Saving taught me that I am capable. I used to think I could never save, that it was too hard, too late, or too complicated. But I was wrong. All it took was a few small steps, a little patience, and a lot of kindness to myself. Now, every time I look at my savings, I don't just see money. I see effort, lessons, and growth. I see a version of myself who decided to take control, to care, and to believe. Because saving money isn't just about keeping what you have, it's about becoming who you want to be. Saving money is not only about numbers. It's about learning to live with peace, patience, and purpose. It's about understanding that what we keep is just as important as what we spend. When I first started this journey, I thought saving was only for people who earned more than me. But now I know saving is for anyone who believes in their future. You don't have to be rich to save. You just have to start. Even saving one small coin, one small bill, or one small choice can change how you feel about life. Because saving is not only about money, it's a habit of trust. Every time you save, you are telling yourself, I believe in tomorrow. Of course, there will be days when you fail, days when you spend too much or forget your goals. That's okay. Saving is not a straight line. It's a journey. You can always begin again, no matter where you are. I used to think that happiness came from buying things, but now I know real happiness comes from knowing I don't need much to feel content. It comes from the calm feeling of being prepared, of knowing I can take care of myself. That's what true wealth is. Peace of mind. So if you are trying to save money right now, don't see it as something hard or boring. See it as a quiet promise to yourself. A promise that your future matters. A promise that you deserve stability, safety, and freedom. You don't need to save perfectly. You just need to save with love. Love for your dreams, your future, and the person you are becoming. Because every small amount you save today is not only money, but it's a piece of hope, a seed of freedom, and a sign that you are growing. Thank you for spending this time with me on EvoLing Mind, English for your ears and your inner self. May you always have enough to live, enough to give, and enough to feel safe. And remember, it's not how much you have, but how you use it that creates a rich life. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening with EvoLing Mind. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep your English and your mindset evolving every day.